Ever heard of a city so powerful it was split between an island and the mainland? Welcome to Tyre, the ancient powerhouse of the Mediterranean, just 25 miles north of its sister city. Sidon Tyre was a marvel of its time. The offshore part, though rocky, was a nearly untouchable fortress, home to possibly 40,000 people. Its natural harbor was one of the best along the coast, making it a critical hub for a global trading network that stretched from Europe to the Far East. Tyre was famous for its own products, too. Think exquisite glassware and a stunning purple cloth, a favorite among royalty. This dye came from a local sea snail, the murex, and it made Tyre's merchants fabulously wealthy. They were the princes of the sea, as the prophet Isaiah called them. This wealth wasn't just for show. They used it to build a mighty stronghold and buy peace from whichever superpower was currently in charge. The city's golden age truly began around 1200 BC, when Philistines sacked Sidon. Refugees flooded into Tyre, and with its main competitor out of the picture, the city boomed. Around 970 BC, King Hiram I united the Phoenician city-states, built grand temples, and even constructed a second harbor, connecting the two with a canal. It was an era of incredible expansion. In 814 BC, Tyrian colonists even founded Carthage, a city that would one day challenge Rome itself. This period of growth lined up perfectly with the reigns of Israel's most powerful kings, David and Solomon. Jerusalem was only about 100 miles from Tyre, so it's no surprise they were closely connected. In fact, Tyre pops up all over the Bible. King David sourced materials and craftsmen from Tyre to build his royal palace. His son Solomon took it a step further. He relied on Tyre for the timber, gold, and skilled labor needed to construct the magnificent temple in Jerusalem. In return, he gave Hiram some territory. Solomon even partnered with Tyrian sailors to establish his own fleet on the Red Sea. Generations later, when the Israelites returned from exile in Babylon, they once again turned to Tyre for cedar to rebuild the temple. But not all interactions were so positive. One of Israel's kings, Ahab, formed a political alliance with Tyre by marrying Jezebel. She was the daughter of Tyre's king and high priest, a man who had seized the throne. As the Bible makes painfully clear, this alliance brought disaster upon Israel, introducing widespread idol worship. The prophets also had a lot to say about Tyre. The book of Ezekiel, in particular, dedicates 3 whole chapters to the city. The prophecy begins by calling out Tyre's opportunism. You see, while Tyre's merchants were great at making deals, they often did so at Israel's expense. When Israel was weak, Tyre took advantage. They even joined alliances against God's people. The prophets, Joel and Amos, also condemned Tyre for this. And according to Jeremiah, this betrayal wouldn't go unpunished. But the most stunning part of Ezekiel's prophecy against Tyre isn't just the condemnation, it's the jaw-dropping accuracy of its fulfillment. Let's break down the specific predictions made in Ezekiel chapter 26 and see how history played out. First, Ezekiel predicted that King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon would destroy the mainland portion of Tyre. And what happened? In 586 BC, Nebuchadnezzar laid siege to Tyre for 13 long years. During that time, the people moved their valuables to the island fortress. Nebuchadnezzar conquered the mainland but couldn't take the island. Even so, the conflict weakened Tyre, ending its autonomy. Prediction 1, fulfilled. Second, the prophecy said other nations would participate in Tyre's downfall. After Babylon, Tyre fell under the control of Persia. Then the Greeks under Alexander the Great, then the Ptolemies, the Seleucids, the Romans, and finally, Muslim Arabs. In 1291 AD, the Mamluks destroyed what was left of the city. A long list of nations, just as predicted. Prediction 2, fulfilled. Third, Ezekiel said the city would be flattened, like the top of a rock. This is where Alexander the Great comes in. Frustrated by the island fortress, just like Nebuchadnezzar, Alexander came up with a brilliant, audacious plan. He took the rubble from the destroyed mainland city, its stones, timber, and soil land, used it to build a massive causeway, a land bridge, all the way out to the island. In just 7 months, he conquered the city. Prediction 3, fulfilled. Fourth, the prophecy stated it would become a place for spreading fishing nets. After Alexander's conquest, Tyre's glory was gone. Its once bustling port, the heart of a global trade empire, became little more than a fishing village. The waters around Tyre were famous for their fish, and that became the city's only remaining claim to fame. Prediction 4, fulfilled. Fifth, Ezekiel was incredibly specific, saying tires, stones, and timbers would be laid in the sea. This is exactly what Alexander did to build his causeway. He literally threw the old city into the water to reach the new one. Over time, sand and currents built up around this causeway, permanently connecting the island to the mainland. Prediction 5. Fulfilled. Sixth, the prophecy foretold that other cities would tremble at Tyre's fall, and they did. After seeing how Alexander the Great conquered the unconquerable city of Tyre, many other fortified cities in the region simply surrendered to him without a fight. The psychological impact was immense. Prediction 6. Fulfilled. Finally, Ezekiel predicted the city would never be inhabited or rebuilt to its former glory. After his conquest, Alexander sold most of Tyre's population into slavery. The city never regained its power or influence on the world stage. Today, a small town called Sur exists there in southern Lebanon, a mere shadow of the magnificent city it once was. Prediction 7. Fulfilled. So, what are the odds of all this happening by chance? Researchers Peter Stoner and Robert Newman calculated the probability of one person correctly guessing all 7 of these detailed outcomes. The chances are 1 in 75 million. To put that in perspective, you are more likely to get struck by lightning than to guess all of these details correctly. It's like flipping a coin and getting heads 26 times in a row. The story of Tyre, its rise, its pride, and its spectacular fall, isn't just a fascinating piece of ancient history. It's a powerful testament, recorded centuries in advance, that demonstrates a guiding hand in the affairs of humanity. The prophecies weren't vague. They were specific, detailed, and historically verified. It truly makes you think. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as incredible as I did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into history. See you next time.